You know what I think? You just don't want to come because you're jealous.
Jealous? Of what?
Do you ever feel forgotten? The Warriors of Kyoshi hides more than a battle. It holds a question that can change everything, if we're brave enough to ask it. The story starts innocently. Ang, Katara, and Sokka soar through the endless skies, chasing the distant promise of the North Pole. But when they land on Kyoshi Island, a hidden village by the sea, the true journey begins, not across the map, but across the fragile bonds between friends. At first, it feels like nothing more than a playful detour. Ang spots the elephant koi leaping from the waves, and in a burst of boyish pride, he charges toward the water to impress Katara. He laughs, he shivers, he rides the koi with giddy triumph. But when he turns to catch her reaction, Katara isn't even watching. Have you ever been there? Tried to show someone you love just how much you wanted them to see you, only to realize they were looking somewhere else? It stings. Not because they meant to hurt you, but because the need to be seen is stitched so deeply into who we are. Aang isn't just showing off, he's reaching for connection, and Katara, without meaning to, misses the moment. And sometimes, that's how distance begins. Not with betrayal, but with a missed heartbeat. A single small ache that grows quietly into loneliness. But they aren't the only ones facing invisible battles. In his own way, Sokka is about to be tested too. Not by loneliness, though. Soon after, the Kyoshi warriors ambush the trio, displaying fierce strength and discipline. Sokka, clinging to old ideas about masculinity, mocks them, only to be swiftly and humiliatingly defeated. Sokka's struggle is about pride, about redefining strength not as dominance, but as humility. And isn't that a battle so many of us face? The belief that being strong means being louder, tougher, always in control, until life humbles us. Until we're forced to realize that true strength often looks like listening, learning, and letting go of old armor. Meanwhile, Aang reveals he is the Avatar, and the villagers erupt with awe. The boy who once feared his destiny now basks in it, marbles spinning, crowds cheering. At first, it's harmless, but slowly, something dangerous begins to seep in. Aang starts confusing admiration with belonging. There's a rush that's easy to lose yourself in, when new faces celebrate you, lift you high, and make you feel unstoppable. And somewhere along the way, without even realizing it, you lose sight of the ones who loved you first, the ones who never needed the noise. He soaks in the fame, forgetting the quiet loyalty of the ones who knew him before the applause. And standing on the sidelines is Katara. She watches as Aang is mobbed by fangirls, called Angi, lifted high on waves of affection that have nothing to do with who he truly is. Katara folds her arms, narrows her eyes, not out of jealousy, but out of grief. Grief that the boy she believed in could be so easily swept away. Because it's not just about being left out. It's about realizing that someone you trusted might choose the roar of the crowd over the sound of your voice. And you know, Katara isn't upset because she wants attention. She's hurt because she trusted Aang to remember her, to see her, even when others crowded around. There's a quiet kind of heartbreak, watching someone you love chase after something new, wondering if they even notice you're no longer standing beside them. Real love isn't tested by loneliness, it's tested by temptation. Will we remember the quiet bonds when louder voices call our names? But temptation has a way of leading us further than we ever meant to go, until the moment comes when we finally see what we've lost. Later, Aang tries to ride the legendary Unagi, seeking once again to impress. The fangirls, bored, drift away. The crowd is fickle, and at last, Aang feels the emptiness he had been running from. When the thrill of attention fades, and you're left alone in the quiet, wondering if any of it ever really mattered. When you realize that applause can't keep you afloat, not when the waters get deep and dark and real. When he flails in the water, helpless against the monster he thought he could conquer, it isn't the fangirls who rush to his side. It's Katara, sprinting into the freezing surf, pulling his unconscious body back to shore. She doesn't need applause to act. She doesn't need a crowd to love him. She remembers who he is, even when he forgets. And isn't that what we all need? Not someone who loves us when we're shining, but someone who wades into the cold, chaotic waters when we can't save ourselves. The people who truly love us aren't the ones who cheer the loudest.